What happens when the most famous person on earth tries to control the one thing money cannot buy? Welcome back. Today we are looking at the final hours of Michael Jackson through the lens of Stoicism. You will see how a desperate need for control led to a tragedy. By the end of this video, you will learn how to handle your own daily stress without losing your inner peace. The DRLVE for perfection. In June 2009, Michael Jackson was getting ready for his big comeback tour called This Is It. He had 50 concerts lined up in London. The pressure was massive. Millions of eyes were on him. Stoic philosophy teaches us that pressure is often a weight we put on ourselves. The Stoic teacher Seneca once wrote that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Michael was not just fighting the world, he was fighting his own mind. He wanted everything to be perfect. Think about a time you had a big test or a major presentation at work. Did your mind start racing? Did you feel like you could not fail? That is exactly what Michael felt, but on a global scale. He was practicing dancing and singing for hours every single day. His body was tired, but his mind would not shut down. When you care too much about what other people think, your mind becomes a noisy marketplace. You cannot find silence. This deep worry led to his biggest enemy, severe insomnia. He simply could not sleep. The cocktail of distrust. To fix his sleep, Michael hired a personal doctor, Conrad Murray, paying him a large amount of money to solve the problem. But here is the Stoic truth. You cannot buy a calm mind. On the night of June 24 and into the early morning of June 25, Michael could not rest. Dr. Murray gave him different medications to help him sleep. First, Valium. It did not work. Then lorazepam. Still nothing. Then midazolam. Yet Michael remained awake. Imagine trying to open a locked door with the wrong keys. Each failed attempt makes you more frustrated, more desperate. That was Michael's state. He was trapped in his own bedroom, exhausted but unable to surrender to sleep. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to force yourself to sleep while your mind is racing? The harder you try, the more awake you feel. It becomes a battle you cannot win. For Michael, the anxiety of not sleeping became worse than the lack of sleep itself. He wasn't just tired, he was afraid of being tired. He was chasing something that cannot be forced. Stoic philosophy teaches us a simple but powerful idea. Focus only on what you can control. Your actions, your mindset, your effort. Sleep is not something you can command. It is something you allow. Michael was doing the opposite. He was trying to control the outcome instead of calming the process. And in that struggle, his mind became even more restless. Sometimes, the more tightly we hold on, the further peace slips away. And sometimes, the only way to find rest is to stop chasing it. The milk A&D, the fatal decision. By the morning of June 25, Michael was desperate. He begged Dr. Murray for his favorite sleep aid. He called it his milk because the liquid was thick and white. The real name of this drug is propofol. Propofol is not a normal sleeping pill. It is a powerful anesthetic used in hospitals for major surgery. It knocks your brain unconscious. It does not give you natural sleep. It shuts down your system. Dr. Murray finally gave in to Michael's requests. He gave him a 25 milligram dose of propofol through an IV drip. This is where the story takes a dark turn. Dr. Murray left the room. He went to use the bathroom and made personal phone calls. He left a heavily drugged patient completely alone. From a Stoic viewpoint, this was a failure of duty. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic, always said we must do our duty with total focus. Dr. Murray was hired to protect life, but he walked away from his post. When he came back into the bedroom, Michael Jackson had stopped breathing. The court's verdict. What happened next became a massive legal battle. Did Conrad Murray murder Michael Jackson? Legally, the answer is no. He did not commit murder. Murder means you plan to kill someone on purpose. Dr. Murray did not want Michael to die. However, the courts found him guilty of involuntary manslaughter. This means he caused a death through extreme carelessness. The medical examiner called the death a homicide caused by acute propofol poisoning. During the trial, the defense team argued that Michael gave himself the extra dose while the doctor was out of the room. They said Michael was desperate and did it to himself. But medical experts stood up and disagreed. They said it did not matter who pushed the button. Dr. Murray brought a dangerous hospital drug into a regular bedroom. He did not have the right machines to monitor Michael's breathing. He did not even call emergency services immediately when he found the body. Instead, he tried to clean up the medicine bottles first. If you are finding this breakdown helpful so far, please hit that like button. It helps our small channel grow, and share these calm lessons with more people. The Stoic lesson for US. So what is the ultimate truth behind Michael Jackson's final hours? One perspective is this: he was unable to surrender. Stoic philosophy teaches a concept called amor fati, love your fate. It means accepting reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. If you cannot sleep, you accept being awake. You don't fight it with increasingly dangerous solutions. Michael had everything: fame, wealth, influence, but he struggled to accept vulnerability. He tried to force his body into sleep so he could maintain control over his life and his tour. But sleep is not something you can command. The more you chase it, the further it moves away. Conrad Murray, on the other hand, failed in a different way. He did not set boundaries. He did not say no. Instead, he allowed external pressure and financial incentives to override his medical responsibility. In the end, both men were driven by forces outside their control: fear, pressure, expectation. Stoicism reminds us that true control lies within. When we try to control everything else, we create chaos. Real wealth is not external success, but an inner calm that remains steady even when life doesn't go as planned. This tragedy serves as a stark modern mirror for our own lives. We may not be preparing for a 50-date stadium tour under the glare of global paparazzi, but how often do we replicate Michael's exact mistake? How often do we turn to external, quick-fix solutions to quiet a mind that we have spent all day overstimulating? We drink endless caffeine to force ourselves awake, take pills to force ourselves asleep, and look for external metrics of validation to silence our deep-seated anxieties. We treat our bodies like machines that can be programmed, bypassed, and overridden. But Stoicism reminds us that your mind is not a machine, it is a sanctuary. If you populate that sanctuary with a constant, desperate anxiety over outcomes you cannot guarantee, no doctor, no amount of money, and no medication can ever grant you true peace. Conrad Murray's ultimate crime wasn't malice, it was compliance. He chose financial comfort over his ethical duty, proving that when we refuse to set firm boundaries with the world, we become complicit in our own destruction. This story isn't just a sensational piece of pop culture history, it is a profound cautionary tale about the high cost of unchecked ambition and the illusion of absolute control. The king of pop had the entire world at his feet, yet he passed away in a quiet room, trapped by the one thing he couldn't conquer: his own restless thoughts. Conclusion: Conrad Murray did not intend to kill Michael Jackson, but his lack of professional discipline cost a life. Michael's desperate search for control ended in the ultimate loss of control. We can learn from this tragedy. Tomorrow, when something goes wrong or you feel stressed, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you can only control your actions, not the outcomes. Let go of the need to be perfect. Thank you for spending your time with me today. If you want to keep learning how to build a stronger mind, subscribe to the channel. Stay calm, stay focused, and I will see you in the next video.